Welcome to RPG Reanimators, and it's a live actual play of the scariest game we've ever tried, Wanderhome, by J Dragon. We'll be doing some character and location creation this morning, along with a quick session. Uh, let's get started. Um, most of us have played before, but Alex, you're a brand new player to Wanderhome. So Wanderhome's a sort of idyllic, animal-filled journey game. There's no violence. You're looking at yeah, it's not pulp in any fashion. You're exploring a beautiful landscape filled with life and soul and kind creatures. um, the animal folk are called kith. The what we would kind of normally deal with in our life as animals are bugs. So livestock are bees. Um, Holly has played a moth tinder before as kind of the analog to the post person with pigeons, but it uses moths instead. Um, and everybody's fairly hospitable here. There was a recent war, but it is no longer wartime. Everybody's chill, at least to some degree, but you might see remnants of this previous war that was there. Beyond that, the main mechanic of the game will have to do with tokens. Um, Tokens are something that you can use to, well, we'll get to how you use them in a second. You're going to get them whenever you inconvenience yourself to help someone else. When you give away something that you're holding dear, if you pause a moment and get some rest, you leave an offering for a small or forgotten god. If you speak your true feelings on a subject, if you take a moment to bask in the grandeur of the world and describe it to the table, or if you take a moment to describe a tiny moment of beauty, describe it, or take a moment to marvel at something no one has seen before and ask the table to describe it. Uh, all of these kind of being ways to expand the world. And then you can spend those tokens to provide a solution for an aspect of a material or immediate problem, ease someone's pain, if only for a moment, keep someone safe from the difficulties of the world, offer someone a chance to connect with you on a personal level, find what someone needs to give them a chance to change fundamentally, reveal something hidden about the person in front of you and ask them what it is, know something important about the place you're in and tell the table about it, or listen to the shared wisdom of the many small and forgotten gods and ask the table what they tell you. So basically, when you want to accomplish something, generally you'll spend a token to access that in some way. So the economy is basically describe the world that gives you the uh the tokens you need to affect it. So that's it. I mean, that's Wander Home in a nutshell. There's no attack bonuses or anything like that, so you'll it'll be a pretty easy start from there. So let's start looking into our characters. I think some of us have had a little bit of a chance to look at the playlist that they would like to do. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I've decided to take on the character book or the playbook of the vagabond. So this is the world's taken everything from you, beat down on your shoulders and given you an aching heart. Some people think you're a criminal or a monster, but you know what you are. You're alive, your care is invisible, cautious, and unimaginably deep. For my animal, I've chosen a possum. Two things I call myself, and two I staunchly insist I am not. I um I would call myself a liar and no, actually, I'm gonna say I call myself no, I am sorry. I had to think about it. I call myself a liar and a monster, but I am not a thief or a lady.
Fire. I'm sorry, I can't help that instinct. Excellent. All right, Lex, how about you?
Sure. So I will be working from the Peddler playbook. The road is long and filled with merchants, traders, and everyone else doing their part to make sure no one in the heath, or to make sure everywhere in the heath is provided for. No one's home can stand alone. You are alive, your care is material, solid, and dependable. Uh, for my animal, I will be playing a raccoon wearing overalls named Pocket. And it first tells me that I should choose two that I am and two that I feel I need to be. Going from the list, I would say that I am experienced and sustainable, and that I need to be more calculating and stern, as I'm not exactly operating at a profit.
Excellent. Um, Morgan or Alex?
So I will go. So I will be playing Captain Primrose Thimbleful. She is a veteran. Um, and as a mouse, she wears a billowing cloak that hides her armor. She carries around a torn battle standard for her company, and has a very wide brimmed hat. Uh, she is sometimes cold and bitter, but she refuses to be heartless uh, and furious. And she also carries around a sword, which she could never unsheath, that is both engraved with a sacred name, um, and was once proof of her undying love for another. It is the sword of the love of her life, who fell in battle towards the end of the war.
Oh, at the end. All right. Alex, what are you looking at?
So I am looking at Playbook the Teacher, and the name I'm choosing is Morado, and they are a peacock. So they are creative and conventional, but they can't be pretentious or extroverted anymore because they're getting old. They always carry around a satchel of books, a dusty blazer, oversized glasses, and a comfortable hat. When wherever they go, there's children that need education, and they teach the formal language of noble courts. They also
Oh,
teach astrology and household magic.
a little bit of up close magic for the kids.
Yep.
Nice. And I think I am gravitating towards the Pilgrim. I need a good name though. So in this case, I will play a ferret. So the gods have given you a path forward, a place you hope can finally give you what you seek. Some days you worry you'll never make it there at all. You are alive, your care is enduring, faithful, and expressed one step at a time. And I'm just gonna go with Terry, Tarry, in this case. Uh, he is a ferret and tends to be proper and unobtrusive, but he's given up on being wise and healthy. He's a little bit more of the friar type that's more round kind of ferret than perhaps the road tested, you know, wanderer that you might expect. Think kind of sturdy walking stick, practical boots, but from there, slightly inaccurate map of the area and the bare minimum to get by. He does not have a lot. Great. So another aspect to character creation, everybody should have their sheet open. Uh, let's start looking at the questions for the left and the right. As a note, we might be skipping some of the questions just for time, but feel free, uh, players, to obviously answer them for themselves if that's interesting. Um, Holly, do you want to start with the questions?
Sure. And eventually I need to get back to like the rest of my character description, but let me see. Ask one question to my left and one to my right. I'll start with Lex. Actually, I think if y'all don't mind, I think I should probably like finish telling out my
Sure.
story
Yeah,
because
go
that'll
for
like,
it.
you know. Okay, so things to describe my look. I am wearing a scarf big enough to hide in. So I'm thinking one of those like giant infinity scarves that you can kind of just like make a hood out of. I have a pack of smokes and a wanted poster with my own face and fingerless gloves. 2 crimes I've been falsely accused of, and 2 crimes I am actually guilty of. I am actually guilty of cheating at cards and killing a prison warden. I've been falsely accused of stealing supplies and betraying my kingdom. One thing, okay, so with that, I'll do questions left to the right. So Lex, how did we get off on the wrong foot?
I think it would probably how we first met, as it sounds like you may have been hungry, starving, trying to just get by on your own. And
Mhm.
then there comes a doddering old raccoon riding a large beetle laden with lots of different goods, including a big basket of apples hanging precariously off the side of it. And after hearing a little bit of coming from behind, uh, I may have scolded you just about, that's thievery, blah, blah, blah. You could have just asked. And so I may have taken it on myself to try and like coach you and show you a better way, and that you don't need to steal to eat, but you can cooperate and work together.
Okay, I like that. And to my other side, I will ask Morgan, because I feel like this will be an interesting dynamic question. How have you helped me when no one else would?
Well, there was a time when you I think we first met when you were about to be arrested. And something in your young face reminded me of a soldier from my company. Um, and I intervened.
Okay, I like it.
Nice. How about Pocket?
Okay. And Holly, I'm sorry, what is your character's name?
I'm gonna go with Kix, Kix.
Kix. Right. I also need to flesh in a little more detail. I wasn't sure how much we were going to go each in turn. So definitely for my look is referenced a pair of patched up overalls. That the pockets are all probably different colors that have been sewn on from various bits of cloth just to try to keep them going. It's a little bit of like Theseus's overalls at this point. And a very wide brimmed hat usually has a bit of straw or something that I can be chewing on while I am steering my large Hercules pack beetle named Cynthia. Uh, I tend to bring in fruits, vegetables, and other sorts of dependable produce. I'd have to say a lot of potatoes sounds on par. And choose one thing that I'll never abandon and one that I parted with a long time ago. I'm going to save this for later because this is a lot to read through at the moment. So I'm
Mhm.
going to skip ahead to my questions. So to my left, that would be to Nathan looking at my screen. Why did we start traveling together all those years ago?
I mean, you said you have potatoes, and Terry didn't learn a lot from the monasteries there, but he knows how to cook a potato. So there was probably a friendship struck up over some hash browns or something like that. A twice baked potato over the
And I was
night,
probably
and
gnawing on them raw, and then you just straight up Samwise Gamgee this whole thing,
yeah,
and they're like, no, 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 no. Here's oil and a frying pan,
potato. Yeah,
baby.
exactly. So yeah, I think Terry and you, it's a culinary sort of journey for the two of us.
And then to my right, which would be Holly, what do you give me that I can't get anywhere else?
Um,
Stress would be one.
um, actually, I'm gonna play it a little bit literal and say that like I have some connections, so like really difficult to find goods. Like we're in a post-war period, but
Mhm.
only recently, so it's still hard to get a hold of some items. And I'll let you decide whether or not you're like, okay, where is she getting these from? Or it's like, wow, she just has really great connections. This is wonderful. Cause like, yeah, like maybe so it's like definitely black market, but yeah, I have the hookup for things that you have been struggling to find from some of your other more legitimate connections.
Where'd these sweet potatoes come from? Don't ask, man. Don't ask. All right. Kind of continuing down the line. Morgan, what about Captain Primrose?
Okay, so just one more kind of thing that I have to tell everybody about as far as being a veteran, and then I'll ask my questions. Is I have one lesson that I've learned and two that I've forgotten. So the lesson that I have learned was from a sobbing and hurt young child. It's taught me that a single slice kills not only the enemy, but everyone who loved the enemy as well. And this is why I must never unsheath my blade. I have forgotten about an empty soldier who taught me that there's no better feeling than your sword cutting through skin, and a royal monarch who taught me that violence is just a way to maintain control. Um, and now for my questions. So looking at so to my left, Alex, to Murado. How do you help me stay in control?
Through showing you that teaching and creating instead of destroying is something that is truly coveted in this world, in this new world that we're building together. And especially through showing you all of the children I teach. They sometimes do projects, so I hand you basically gifts of creation to show you the beauty of that.
And now to Kix. What is a craft that you have been trying to teach me?
Um, Not tying, like specifically like all the different ways you can tie knots and untie knots and get out of them, a little bit of that like escape artistry. Um yeah, there's some finesse to it, and maybe you don't necessarily have the patience for it, or you just don't see the value in it. I don't know. You can decide that.
Yeah, well, one of the things I can always do is practice a craft I'm not very good at. So we'll keep the knots in mind.
Guys, I'm stuck again. I'm stuck. All right, Murado.
All right, so my question for Captain Primrose is, what do you know that I can't hope to understand?
Oh, I know. Um, I know what it is like to what it is like to order people and then watch them die because of what you've said.
Lovely. And for Terry, what have you shown me about the world?
Let's go with the kind of the theme, right? Is Terry is shown you that there's a lot of ways to harvest nature around you, and he's always kind of doing this like, oh, we're in this belt of the world. Well, let's dig for a moment in at the base of this tree. Yes, you see there are these roots here that are very sweet when you chop them up finely and fry them. If you add a little bit of honey and this sort of thing. So it always kinds of it's a culinary sort of trip again for everybody when Terry's around.
Wonderful.
All right. My detail I'll add. I was looking at the sign of Terry's faith. He is a pilgrim, so his is a deck of oracular cards, which has plenty of opinions for what's next in store. He has a tendency to lose them, or at least one card or two out of there. So you might find it at the bottom of a bag once in a while and be like, "Terry, is this your card?" And you go, "Oh, yes, the Hanged Man. Uh, really, that's an important one. I shouldn't be losing those." um, but let's see, who am I asking? Lex, by which I mean Pocket. Um, what is it about you that makes me comfortable telling you my doubts?
My frequent ineptitude and general worldliness. I feel like I have something of a past and tell some stories with details about the war that most folks shouldn't, that aren't exactly common knowledge. And I may have a limp and daughter around a little bit, and it's not uncommon for some of my goods to fall off of Cynthia while going along. So it seems like I'm down to earth and grounded, but also okay with my mistakes and flaws that
Mhm.
makes it more comfortable for you to give, like, to share details about yourself. And I also don't judge. I'm keeping Kicks around for Pete's sake.
I'm just imagining as the stuff is falling out the back, like Kix and I are splitting. Like, oh, an apple fell. Chop. Here you go. Here you go. No, 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 no. In that case, Murado. Let's see. What is the second question I have? Um, does our faith still fill your heart with hope?
Does our faith?
Yeah. So, Terry's faith.
Yeah, I
The
would say
Royal
so.
R.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, it does. Because nothing should be forgotten.
Like that. Like that. Very good. Does anybody have anything else they want to add that we skipped about their characters? Otherwise, um, we'll take a moment and just go down the list and uh, discuss what our characters each can do all the time. They're just kind of ideas of sort of activities if you're ever stuck, things to do, and usually there will be a token opportunity there. So for example, for the pilgrim, I can always recite a small prayer, chatter away, shield myself from harsh conditions, place my faith in improbable coincidence, and have it work out, which that seems pretty handy. Ask, do you think we'll make it? Or say, lead the way, and they get a token if they do.
I'll go through mine. Some things I can always do. Be somewhere I'm not supposed to be. Have something I'm not supposed to have. Mutter something I'm not supposed to say. Lie. Say, I have a bad feeling about this. Or ask, do you trust me? And you get a token if you say yes.
Okay, I'll go through mine. I can always repeat a calming phrase. Spend time practicing a craft you're not very good at. Drum against the pommel of your blade. Leap to your feet. Say, I don't do that anymore. Ask, what are you hiding? And finally, I can unsheath my blade and immediately kill the person in front of me. Then remove your character from the game. You cannot play them any longer.
Wow, really? Oh, how do you get your token? What's your like token action?
When you
None?
die.
Wow.
There is no token action.
Oh,
Intense.
Instead of a token action, you can
Yeah, you just have this
kill
like
one
kill
person.
action.
Yeah.
Wow.
it's heavy, man.
Let's see. Pocket can always know someone who can help, can always intensely examine something, or sit down and do the math, which I don't think I'm very good at. I can always trade for or trade away one of my many wares. Ask, what can I do for you? And say, I have a deal for you. And I give that person a token if they hear me out and consider it. But I don't have any way I can necessarily gain a token, I don't think.
I think that's
aside
pretty
from the main
common. I
ways.
think we have mechanisms to give, but not
Ah,
gain.
All right. Murado, what can you do?
So Murado can sit down surrounded by others, fumble for their supplies, clear their throat and get everyone's attention, tell the table something related to a subject that they teach. They can ask, can you show me? And they can also ask, what can we learn from this? And they get a token if they reflect on what's around them.
Nice.
Excellent. All right. Wonderful. In that case, uh, let's talk about the location we're doing. So the way we do these is we will roll d6s a few times to generate on the random nature tables. We'll get 3 randomized natures and then mash them together and then kind of figure out what the heck those are. So let's start. Who wants to roll 2d6?
I see Morgan reaching for dice. Go for it, Morgan.
Yep, give me a moment.
Do we need to decide what time of year it is before we do that?
Technically, we'll do that next. Yeah.
A 5 and then a 5.
All right. A 5/5. A lonely nature is a 5, and then the extra one after that will be a moor. On page 176.
I don't think we've
So
ever done a more before.
I don't think so either.
Nice.
We'll be interested. Somebody else, give me 2d6, please.
4 and 4. Oh my god. Double 4s.
Yeah, really. Sprawling nature. This is a metropolis. More metropolis, page
Oh, I don't think
167.
we've done this one either. That's exciting.
so we're just going to Scotland, is all that I'm hearing.
A metropolis on the moors.
Yeah. All right. And then the last 2d6.
2 and 3.
2 and 3. Oh, broke the streak. And it is not a not an M. I'm afraid that is a verdant nature, and it is a hallow on page 150. So let's start with the Moor, not the James Bond guy. As I attempt to find.
All right. Moor is a quiet place where sharp winds whistle through a stretched out landscape. This place can always describe what makes someone feel lonely, hint at something eerie, ask what weighs on your mind, and you get a token if you give a satisfying answer. Choose 2 aesthetic elements: distant wasp caws, patches of wetland, a thin mist, gnarled trees, a shiver down your back, a nervous teen sneaking away for their love, something else of our own invention. All right, what are we thinking on this one?
Well, I like the kind of the thin mist.
It's always good.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, especially with the metropolis feel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this could be a more on the outskirts of a metropolis, right? Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
before the final
Before
vestiges
the big
of nature before, the city takes over. Alex, do you have an aesthetic element that speaks to you for the more?
For the probably it's gonna be the glassy. Oh, that's sorry. I'm looking at the mirror. 176. Uh,
I also posted it in the notes
Yeah.
if you want
I
to look at
like the
those.
thin mist for sure.
What if something of our own invention, just because for some, like, you say the word more and then I can't stop thinking of like Wuthering Heights.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gold.
yeah.
So do we want, instead of like a
Like-
nervous teen, do we want like a lovelorn widow wandering the moors?
No,
You
that's
have a
great.
wandering Miss Havisham?
Well,
That's not
I was
Wuthering
I was
Heights,
I
but
was thinking more, not in terms of like exactly Emily Bronte, but like ghosts, like it's haunted.
Oh, I like it.
Okay.
I do like that.
Yeah.
done
Ghosts.
and done.
That's
Alright,
something of own
it's a
invention.
haunted
So
moor.
it's full of mists and ghosts.
It's just
And I like
every
the
time you
idea.
turn the corner, it's a new mansion that's falling into disrepair.
Yeah, I like the idea of rumors that there are ghosts and
Mhm.
yeah. I
I'm
like
just
that.
having Lord of the Rings flashbacks now. We got to have some Will-O-Wisp and say, like, don't follow the lights.
Yeah. Choose one folklore about this place. The devil dog and its prey, the heron and her murdered lover, the lost army of the first queen, something else of our own invention. The middle two kind of almost sound like they feed into the ghost narrative some. So do we want like the ghost army or do we want like the lovers that are murdered?
I like the heron and a murdered lover.
Okay.
That sounds nice to me.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. Murdered lover.
Such a
Nice.
lovely. It just has a nice ring to it.
You hear a scream? Oh, that's always here this time of year.
All right, for the metropolis. Metropolis is a place where a lot of people live and where many communities sit side by side. This place can always describe the diversity and variety of people, show conflict between differing needs and worldviews, tell someone they're lost, and give them a token. Our aesthetic elements to choose from are tall, ramshackle apartments, curving arches, cobblestone streets, laundry hanging from windows, more people than you've ever met before, the enclave of a community you're proud to consider yourself part of, or something else of our own invention.
I think I'd like to have the tall ramshackle apartments
I do love that like
because
look, yeah.
yeah, it's kind of a fun idea if we're saying like these are moors that are kind of abandoned and old and maybe there's a crumbling mansion, but then you have this new construction
Mhm.
going on there of them meeting each other.
Ooh, the idea of like a city starting to take over nature a little
Mhm.
bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
expanding into nature.
That's
I
why I
also-
also
Go ahead.
that's why I also like the idea of more people than you've ever met before, because it's just
Mhm.
crowded for the other
Like that.
aesthetic.
What were you gonna say, Lex?
Oh, I was going to say that I also liked the cobblestone streets, that as we're going through the marsh, especially with this creeping mist that's sort of ending as we get further into the city, we just start noticing that the ground is solid beneath us. And instead of this soft squish, it gets into a click clack.
Well, I like having 3 aesthetic elements, so we're gonna go against form.
You
and
can't
do-
stop us.
Choose a
Dark rules.
folklore about this place. The truce of the 3 gods, the night goat of Vermilion Street,
I love that Sherlock novel.
the giant scorpions in the sewer, read that as the server initially.
Ooh.
Something else of our own invention.
What were we saying earlier about the Wanderhome in space or something?
Oh.
I'm in.
I don't know. None of these are really speaking to me, but I'm also not
what if we
thinking of
have the
anything.
like the something else of your own invention is like the ghost market. Like there's the idea that at night the ghosts come and like they occupy the empty market stalls.
Oh, kind of like a Spirited Away.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, I like that.
a lot.
Instead of
Yeah.
instead of the bathhouse, it's like the market square just becomes occupied by ghosts at night. That's what
I like
people
that because
say.
my only other thought was like a mad mayor, but I like a ghost market.
Yeah.
I also kind of like the idea leaning into this ghost angle and the fact that there's more people than I've ever met. we can't, getting into a liminal nature, we can't really tell who is alive and who may be dead.
Yeah,
That
those
like the
people
living and the
might not be
ghosts are all
alive.
commingling around.
I like it.
What's the city going to be called?
Ooh, that's good.
Union.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, we ready to look at the Hallow?
Let's do it.
Think
All right,
so.
sorry, Nathan. I kind of took over your job
No,
here.
please.
This is like right there.
This
Hallow.
is a GM-less game.
It's true. It's GM.
So,
Okay.
please.
A hallow is a sacred place where gods and mortals mingle. When you arrive at this place, decide a rule that all must follow. And that's going to be something we just have to decide on the fly. This place can always describe the gods that live here and their mystery, offer someone the chance to break this place's rules to make their lives easier. Give someone a token when they bend over backward to respect this place's rules. Our aesthetic element choices are a well-tended shrine, a worn-away mask, the watchful eyes in the shadows, an unexplainable miracle, forgotten offerings, an old sturdy caretaker priest, something else of our own invention.
How about this well-tended shrine? It's quite grand in nature, and it's probably dedicated to a god of death
Mm.
or the
Yeah,
afterlife.
that's kind of, I
Mhm.
was going to ask Terry, who your like your faith and things, is there any way that this could be connected to your faith? And also throwing another bit that I love, that the Hallow is like a fixture within this city of Union. Like what if this
Mhm.
sacred place is like the courthouse or like the town city center or something, and like
I
it's
like the
lived
idea
in?
that this city was kind of built around it. Like maybe this wasn't a
Mhm.
shrine in the
It's
moors.
like Central Park.
And we
Yeah,
kind of
like a
like
Central Park
people, yeah.
fountain is the
And then
Yeah,
shrine.
people
yeah.
started coming here as pilgrimage, and we just like they've
Mhm.
just built this city around it a little bit.
Well, I added that I have this oracular deck, so why don't we have it be kind of a god of fates, right? So death,
Mm.
afterlife, this sort of prediction and uh foreseeing how everything ends up. So maybe it's a bit of a fortune telling sort of
Okay,
thing. That's like the shrine feel is how am I going to die? How is this all going to turn out? And
I like it.
they'll tell you. It's another aesthetic element.
Um, hmm. I like two different ones. I kind of like watchful eyes in the shadows, which kind of lends to the ghosty feel a little bit. But maybe I
Mhm.
don't know if we're kind of playing like they're more passive and it's just like they just exist. Maybe not. But also like forgotten offerings, if we're kind of thinking of this as like a pilgrimage, a place of pilgrimage, and like this shrine that people come to and they've built a city around. Maybe there's like lots of offerings just like piled up
Yeah.
everywhere.
And what if that's one of the rules about the place, is that it is forbidden to take any of the offerings? Like there can be a
Okay.
market, there's stalls, there's
Oh.
trading, but then there's all of this stuff that is just basically free piled up right behind it, maybe around the central fountain or like statue in the center of town. And Kix is likely going to get into trouble. Not to trying to point fingers, just
Listen, you got to play your character. So
that's
choose a
profiling.
folklore. Choose a folklore about this place. The miraculous teachings of the old priest. Sounds like a good hook for Alex a little bit. The 15 sleeping gods. The maiden and her salmon-headed demon love. Something else of our own invention.
Attract fish. I
What
don't know.
if
I'm feeling
the
the hook. Like what kind of teaching? Like would that be something Murado is interested in?
Um,
Maybe not. Just I saw teachings and I thought of Murado, but
hmm.
you know.
what
Murado
if we
dabbles in magic for sure. I feel like this shrine is more of a gate, and that's how these spirits come through.
Okay.
And but only at night. So, and maybe it's avoided at night.
That's like another good rule about the place. You know, you don't go to the gate at night.
And so feel free to discard this idea, but I'm just having a thought to link this back to the folklore about the Moors with the heron and her murdered lover. That maybe that was how the shrine began, is her lover was taken from her and then trying to erect this thing to connect
Mm.
back to the land of the dead so that they could be together again, sort of creating this transitory space in the center of town.
A union between life and death.
You
Mhm.
might say.
But up.
It's all
All
coming
right.
together.
It's don't you love it when that happens? Awesome. I think that gives us kind of an idea to start with. So let's talk about what season it is. In this case, let's see what month it is. We don't have to, but there are quite a few. Do you have the page number, anybody? I see it on
Trying to find it.
I'm
page
trying to find it.
51. One
I think it's
moment.
earlier in the book, yeah.
Yeah, here we go. So it is split into 5 seasons, which is kind of interesting. Uh, Leap is the first season of the year. It is composed of till soil, which is unthawing where crops are planted, a lot of farm work is done. Monsoon is going to have a lot of heavy rains. After that, Bright, that has 2 months. Bloom Meadow, which is fields and trees are covered in flowers, and Devil Days, which is a month of relaxation, sleep, and escape because it's so dang hot. After Bright, you have Breathe, which is a little bit quieter and starts with swarming, which is kind of the traditional bug mating season. So there's a lot of bugs around and music. Then Gatling is the shortest month, which has very uh, high and low temperatures. So very cold at night, very hot during the day. After that is Silt, kind of the fall analog. Fire Top, where the trees turn orange and red, and you customarily light bonfires. After that is Grasping, where the leaves finally fall and the plants look like claws pointing towards the heavens. And then lastly, Chill, and that starts with Snow Blanket, where everything gets quiet and calm under the weight of heavy snow, and then it is followed by Frostbite, where it becomes bitter and dreadfully cold. And at that point, most people don't travel.
I think leaning into the Moors vibe, Leap and Monsoon
I was
made
thinking the
sense for me. Like
exact
I
same
Yes,
just
I was
want kind of
thing.
thinking the
It
same
cold
was
and
thing.
it was
rainy.
also it was cold and raining here in Boulder yesterday. So I'm
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
same.
like
Like
this
I
is
got
like
peak Michigan weather outside, so
yeah.
All right,
It's
monsoon is the second month of Leap, where great rains come and bring water to the heath. Choose one that this place lacks. All the others are present. Torrential rain, brief moments of clear skies, beautifully green plant life, brooding clouds. So all apply except one.
there's no brief moments of clear skies. Not
yeah.
Okay,
not
yeah,
here.
it's just
It
torrential
only rains.
downpour.
Always overcast. Always raining.
the
Choose
gates of
three
Seattle.
Choose 3 signs of the month found in this place: dancing in the rain, heavy quilt blankets, lots of tea, the clean smell of soil after rain, jumping in giant puddles, enveloping mists, overflowing rivers, distinctive rain jackets, bored kids, a great sacrifice for the north wind god, a dreary state of mind, something else of our own invention.
Lex, I think you were pointing out enveloping mists. I think that makes sense. Maybe it's even more than usual than that thin mist
Mhm.
is.
We're
It
just going
really,
to
yeah.
a happier Silent Hill, basically.
I like lots of tea, just sounds very cozy to me.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, lots of tea, the heavier mist. I like dancing in the rain.
I like the
Although
distinctive rain jackets as well, along
Oh
with the
yeah.
dancing in the rain.
Hmm.
and also like I guess like a dreary state of mind I also gravitate towards, but
I think we choose all
What
of
is
those.
that?
What is
All right,
being
so-
dreary? Oh.
Dancing in the rain with distinctive rain jackets, lots of tea, enveloping mists, and a dreary state of
Yeah.
mind.
What do you think
Um,
makes them distinctive when we say that?
Ooh, yeah.
Are they like extra colorful, or do they have?
Yeah, definitely. They probably have some kind of property that reacts to the water that makes them pop and glow.
Oh,
I
that's
like that.
fun. Yeah.
So yeah, like kind of like patchwork almost.
Yes.
I like the idea, especially of the children's ones. They are kind of like sewn so that there's like kind of flaps. So as you're like raising your arms, they kind of like the
Yeah.
sleeve is attached to the body, so it just kind of looks like wings.
It's good. Once you give them to tall adults, you end up getting slapped in the face a lot with these
Yeah.
like wet wing things. So,
Yeah.
But the rain jackets of the dead don't glow.
Ooh.
Ugh,
Ooh.
how ominous.
Every time monsoon rolls around, we ask the table, "Do you seek shelter?" and mark a raindrop for everyone who says yes. There won't be any event that occurs with this time, but it's a good question to ask. Do you seek shelter?
No.
Also, no.
I
Terry
think no.
also is like, no, this is you got to go to the shrine. There's no time for shelter.
What does Murado think?
Yes.
All right,
My books are gonna get destroyed.
that's fair.
Why don't you just memorize all of them?
But then I can't share them
Oh,
after I'm
nice.
gone.
Terry's like, you guys need to cheer up a little bit. Have a potato. All right. I think that's getting us close to the end of that list. Let me just double check. We did the month. Let's talk about a couple of kith that already inhabit this place. So let's make up a couple characters that we can immediately interact with or meet during the course of this adventure.
Are we saying the heron is alive and wandering the moors, maybe, and she has the murdered lover, or is she also a ghost?
Maybe the heron doesn't know that it's a ghost.
Okay. I mean, I like that too. A ghost that doesn't know it's a ghost.
So the heron is a ghost, is what we're saying,
Yes.
but doesn't know it.
Doesn't know
Yeah,
it.
the heron has been looking for um their lost love.
And they're
Um,
they're wearing a
endlessly.
rain jacket that does not glow.
Possibly something that if none of us are from this region would know immediately on sight that is a
Mhm.
marker that she's a ghost.
Well, and this much rain too is we probably can't tell immediately, right? With it just pouring down, you could be talking to a ghost for a while and have no
I
idea.
like the idea that because this is kind of a place of pilgrimage, there are both in equal measure the faithful and those that are just opportunistic. So we'll see a lot of both on the road.
Yeah, that's fun. All right. How about a name? What's a good name for this ghost? This bird ghost. I feel like I'm mispronouncing heron every time I say it. So, this bird ghost.
Grace.
I'm looking at fantasy name generators and all of their animal names are like Snadia or Warazars. I was like, that's a little much,
No,
maybe.
that's the wrong vibe.
Yeah, that's not quite it. All right, yes,
Ukarth
Grace.
the Destroyer. I think that works for her name.
Who do you think murdered the husband?
All right, and let's have another person in there. How about somebody
Let's-
from the kind of the apartment and city side of it, just to tie us in there?
Oh, I was gonna say, I was thinking of there are the two guards at the outer gates.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
They have to basically, they're like flood doors. So it's not like
Oh,
they're worried
nice.
about, like, they're not trying to protect the city from like people trying to do something. They're trying to keep the water out, but so they have to kind of let you in through these like locks.
I'm imagining that they are two great toads and
Yeah.
they're just kind of sitting half submerged in the water and they have maybe have moss or something growing on them because this is not an exciting job and we don't even notice that they're there until they what are you going.
And they're just
can't-
carrying, they're just holding, we thought they were lampposts, but they're actually just holding
Yeah.
like lanterns.
I like also the idea, Morgan, the idea of this like being the water barrier, but the water's probably coming from outside, like the moors.
Mhm.
So it's like, all right, before you go in, grab the bucket and drain out some of the water from here, because we're not doing all this work.
But yeah, they're not getting paid for this shit, you know. um,
All right, let's throw some names for these toads. Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, no. Harold. Harold and something else.
Harold and Stump.
Stop.
yes.
Your parents really gave you a heck of a name, Harold.
Oh, it's my grandfather's name.
So let's see. There can also be inside the city itself. There could
Yeah.
be an overly enthusiastic kite salesman.
Not a great time to be selling kites.
It's not a great time to be selling kites, but god damn it,
It's
they've got
great
wares
when the
to
sky's
move.
clear. There'll be kites as far as the eye can
Deals.
see.
It's deals. You always want to buy your kites in the off season.
It's like investing.
Listen, nobody wants a kite now, so I'll sell them to you cheap. But then once these skies clear, they're gonna go through the roof.
You wouldn't want to be caught without a kite. That's for sure.
It's like, so aren't you here early? Huh.
That's the pre-season. It's pre-season sales.
Doesn't that make you a bad salesperson? Shouldn't you come when the prices are good for you? Huh.
I've got to jump in. He's got to be a weasel now.
Nice. And what is this kite salesman's name?
Carl.
Carl the
Carl.
kite.
I
Carl.
love it.
Come on down to Carl's Kites.
Excellent. All right. And then we will begin with the final 4 questions. Sounds so dramatic. The first is, what sort of place did we just travel from?
Oh, I think we've just traveled from basically like a roadside inn,
Hmm.
where we stayed for a few days, waiting for the heavier downpours to let up before we move, because Morado keeps talking about their books, but you can dry books out. I don't know what the worry really is. But we waited nonetheless.
I need to get a waterproof bag.
Well, maybe like a beeswax container or something that, shrugs off the water. That would be within our abilities. Do we feel like our journey has been long?
All this rain to me has made it feel like it's been long, but I feel like that could be an individual answer too, not necessarily a group one.
Yeah, I think for Terry, it sounds like Pocket, you can tell me if you disagree. It feels like we've been journeying together for a while here. So for them, it's probably been a long time, but it might not feel that way. Terry's living his best life.
I agree. I was feeling similarly that I think Pocket has been on the road just about as far back as he can remember, but it doesn't necessarily feel like a long time. He's very comfortable.
Mm-hmm. How about Captain Primrose?
Yes, the journey has felt terribly, terribly long.
For Morado, the journey also has been long. They have lived many lives.
Ooh, nice. All right. Is there somewhere we hope to go?
Murado hopes to go to the gate to see what the legends are all about and to learn as much as possible.
This being a metropolis, I think I have some contacts here and folks I haven't seen in a couple of years, maybe since I went in and then got out. So yeah, hoping to make contact.
I hope to go to the famous market of Union, where there's living and dead customers, because, and hopefully we won't get copyright infringement for this. I'm connecting threads now. So Kix, your like secret good that you keep procuring for us, I'm imagining is an equivalent of frying oil
Okay.
that is kind of hard to come by.
Okay.
And so, of course, Terry now is able to apply that frying oil with Pocket's potatoes to like come up with great French fries and whatnot. But Pocket doesn't really have a great name. Like there's Pocket's Emporium, but it doesn't get that. Like you have to make the E a little lowercase. So we decided to go with P. Terry's famous fried potatoes.
Yeah, like I can feel the lawyers descending upon us.
But it's spelled with an A, not an E, so we're fine.
It's distinctive enough. Yeah.
Yeah. How about Primrose?
I don't know. Primrose once is hoping. Primrose is primarily interested in the moors, not necessarily the city. She wants to know how far away do ghosts wander to this place.
I like that.
Hoping maybe to see someone.
Yeah, I like that. I would say Terry is split between his obligations to go see the gate and the fact that the Market of Union has all these restaurants and stalls like split up there is terribly tempting.
The
So
ghost
it's
market.
it's a little bit of like, well, yeah. Of course we'll get to the Vatican, but as long as we're here, let's get some pasta. All right. And the last question we will answer silently in our heads is where is my home? Okay. So let's get a starting scene set up here.
I think Pocket's beetle is stuck in the mud. We are traveling through the moors at this point, or we've kind of come down into them, and through the mist we can kind of see like the dim little like window lights of the city. But between the mist and the rain, we can't really actually make out anything else in the city, but we're near enough to see the lights. And yeah, the beetle's gotten stuck in the mud. And your beetle has a name that I've forgotten. I need to go check them out.
Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Yeah, Terry's behind the pack just pushing, and basically you're just watching Terry push himself deeper into the mud rather than actually make any progress on this.
I think the reason Cynthia got stuck is because, we treat a lot of insects like bumblebees kind of like livestock in the hearth, heath, whatever. And she keeps wandering off course in the marsh to munch on some of the tall grasses that are coming out, but it's just stuck deeper in the mud the further she goes in. So we keep having to try to push her out, and then she'll just wander over to the next patch of grass, constantly stuck. I think Pocket is I've pulled up all the grass that's in front of her, and I'm trying to wave it like, come on, here girl. I gotta have a different voice than Weasel, but
All right, Terry, you can't just keep pushing on your own, right? An action by a single soldier doesn't do anything. You have to act as a unit, okay?
So, Kix, get over here and help then.
He
Is
got
it-
me
is it-
because I was just thinking Kix was having a smoke.
Is it currently downpouring now? Or-
Yes.
I'm trying to shelter my books. My poor books.
Kix, Murado, get over here.
Fine.
The sooner we get Cynthia out, the sooner we can leave. Come on.
All right,
Kix,
all right.
Does Terry have
Christ.
one
a
good deed a
large-
day.
Does Terry have a large cooking pot?
Oh, yeah, probably
Yeah, I'll
like
take one of
a
those, flip it
few.
upside down, and like basically try and shield my books, and then I'll help push.
Okay, on 3. 1, 2.
Three.
Kix, put that.
Splat. The face first into the mud.
Ugh.
Okay. That was practice. We're just warming up. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Grabbing the reins and pulling. Feet are like sinking down into the mud.
And then Cynthia gets back onto the path.
So let's use a token for that. We'll say we each start out with one. Who wants to spend a token to get Cynthia
I
out of the
will.
mud? I love it. Oh boy, and my fine robes. I'm
That's
gonna
all
have
right.
to
I
change.
think I got something for you that can try and wash that out.
I'm listening.
Yeah, just give me a second. There is just overladen with boxes and bags and things that are on this giant Hercules beetle's back, and I leave you all standing in this rain that's just perpetually coming down, getting more and more soaked. Maybe by the time you see this little striped raccoon tail kind of burrow in, there's a lot of rattling and clanging, and a little clawed hand pokes out. Ah, we have here the rarest of ingredients formerly only available to the royal class. Soap.
Ooh,
Here you go.
Yeah.
Count it as a favor
Hey,
for getting Cynthia out.
Terry, maybe you should wait until we're in union before you wash your robes, because there's still plenty of mud between us and union.
I used to use a lot of soap when I was a model.
You
They
were a
always
model.
Your
manage.
model?
They always
I was a
manage to
model.
sneak that into every conversation.
What did you model for?
Some of the royal courts.
Oh,
Is that how you
Oh.
know all that schmancy language of the royals?
Yes, it is.
Wait.
Mhm.
is that why all those paintings look like you?
I have some paintings.
Oh. Oh well. Yes, I'll just keep a hold of this soap. Until
Oh
we
wait,
get to
you
town.
mean
Then.
those paintings? And point to the side. The-
Oh, they were mass produced. It's fine.
So I'm kind of
Jesus
picturing
Christ. Go ahead.
this. Didn't mean to. I was just picturing the scene of like Pocket. Are you like? Or it's like walking in front of Cynthia holding the reins with the grass. I feel
think
like
so.
Primrose is out front of everybody holding up a lantern. And I'm picturing that Kix is riding on the beetle,
Yeah.
smoking like
Yeah,
as
that
it
sounds good.
walking.
That's good. Jesus Christ, can this mist get any worse though?
Can you see anything from up there?
Between the rain and the mist? No.
Oh,
But my scarf is now like fully pulled up as a hood.
Kix, you have the map, right? We're going in the right direction, aren't we?
Let's see, the blue part's the land, right?
And I imagine you're sitting like on the back of the beetle, very much just like kicking your legs out from behind.
Yeah, we're going in the right direction. Just trust me. My guy gives good directions.
Oh, hold on a second. And Primrose is going to point and kind of there's like a kind of a slope that leads down to the road, which is mostly flooded at this point. But kind of on the crest of this little hill or slope is this kind of very tall figure in this very heavy black raincoat.
I think there's something up there.
Captain!
Hey! Hey!
Oh, maybe they can help us.
Are you saying something, Pocket?
I was just calling, Captain. What do you see? I can barely see my hand in front of my face.
I think it is somebody. Just hello.
Who wants to play this figure? Anybody feeling it? All right, I'll be this dark cloaked figure in the rain. Just kind of slowly turns towards you.
We seem to have gotten lost. What road do we take into Union?
I'm imagining it's just this damp looking hand points towards the
wing.
direction.
You're literally
Yeah.
the ghost of Christmas
Yeah.
future from Muppet Christmas Carol right now. Just
And
But is it the right way?
yeah, for sure. It's like pointing towards this, and it will hold out to you, Primrose, a little bauble, like a fortune telling bauble, like some runic bones or something that they would throw here.
does your arm extend a lot longer than it reasonably should to hand it over?
Just because it's Huron and they have wicked long wingspan where it's just like, oh, it's just here.
Is she from
Whoa.
Boston?
Boston.
Wicked wingspan over
Wicked
here.
wingspan. Hey, go ahead and park your car up there.
Knock your beetle outside.
Yeah.
If it's holding out this kind of fortune telling device, I'll kind of respond. I've heard a lot of ghosts wander these places. And I would like to ask, is the ghost that is she here? And I kind of tap on the pommel of my sword, or kind of like nervously.
I'll say the ghost throws these bones, like you were thinking, like cupped hand maybe, and it will kind of toss them in the air a little bit so they clatter around your hand. Then it leans over to look at them before it nods.
Oh, it's a yes. Is that a oh. Thank you. And I kind of start trying to scoop these out of the mud. To awkwardly like hand back.
And well, let's say you scoop them, and when you look up, it's not there. Classic ghost behavior. Roxanne.
Huh.
Thank
I thought
you.
that crap about ghosts was just a bunch of bullshit.
I keep trying to tell you, Kicks.
Well, that was disturbing.
Well, very helpful.
What?
One should always be respectful towards the dead, Kicks. They have a lot to teach you.
What did the dead ever do for me, Captain?
The dead have done a lot for you, Kicks. A lot.
All right, point the way.
Pocket, what do you do when there's soap in your eyes? It really stings.
Oh, easy. Just look up. I cannot help but think, since you mentioned that Terry is something of a friar and a ferret, that you're a ferret with a shaved like cap on your
It's
head.
like bald.
The rest of you is covered with fur, but just this bald cap.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
The fry cook.
Oh, that's good.
Putting
That's
all
good.
meaning in Frya.
Hey, Captain, you sure that ghost was telling us right? I see a ton of lights out there on those what'd you call it? The hills, the whatevers.
Out in the moors.
Yeah. So it looks like there's a bunch of people out there.
Well, I think it pointed this ways towards Union. Those lights up there might be lanterns. There might be other travelers coming in or out.
Yes, it's
No, I think those, Captain, those look like, that looks like a soldier's encampment. You see, there's tents. You hear those sounds. I heard that these moors can be tricky heading out to Union, and that not all the spirits around in or in Union Market are friendly.
Hmm.
And
Some are
as soon as
lost.
Pocket finishes that sentence, thunder strikes a nearby tree.
Yeah.
I think with kind of the mention of the soldiers' encampment and now like hearing
You
or
hear like metal
yeah,
clanking
it's like
after
I
I
can't tell if
mention
it's
it.
in my head or if it's real. And again, I kind of start to do this kind of nervous tick of just like swirling my hand like around the pommel of my
Oh.
sword.
It's
And
getting
I kind of
really
just say,
nasty.
before the trumpets sound, don't forget to breathe. Before the trumpets sound, don't forget to breathe. Before the trumpets sound, don't forget to breathe. Before the trumpet, and it's kind of just like saying this over and over and over again meditatively.
Have
And I
we
just
heard you
keep
say
going
that
forward.
often?
Yeah.
Well, what's to say we trust the bird broad that just pointed the way, huh? You know
Well,
how
we have to choose soon.
Oh,
It's getting really bad.
No, that why would it lie to us? It had to have pointed the way. It was telling the truth. It was always telling the truth. She's here. She's got to be here. This is the right way.
the tally ho. And Terry, you can see like a little bubble pop out of their mouth as they start heading in the direction that it went. There's
You
a
get the
bite
hiccups
out of
with the
the soap
bubble.
bar. All right, tally ho. Let's go towards the city. But there's no rush to go to ghost encampments or anything of that like. The ghosts will stay put. And let's say we reach the gates and we have those two Harold and Stump there.
I'll play Harold.
All right,
Yeah.
it's Harold. Who wants to be Stump?
I'll be Stump.
Now hold up, travelers.
Oh,
You're gonna have
I'm
to solve
sorry.
a riddle. One of us
I-
tells the truth and another lies.
Why are you lying?
No, I'm just kidding.
Why don't you just both tell the truth?
Come on in. Come
well,
on
then
in.
that's no fun.
I didn't notice you. How long have you been out here?
We've always been here. It's quite nice.
That can't be true. Don't you go home?
This is home.
This is our home.
I'm Captain Thimbleful. Your name?
Oh, Stump.
Harold.
What can
And-
you tell us about your fine city, Stump and Harry?
Well, Union's an odd place. You seen the ghosts yet? Have you? I can see it in your eyes.
Nah, I don't believe in all that.
You'll be
And-
believing soon enough.
I'll offer you a cigarette. I'll offer both of you a cigarette. You smoke?
A tongue. And then you just see like this other little bit of light as this orange cherry ember. It's just
We heard there's a bit of a market in town. Where might an intrepid travelers such as ourselves find that?
Well, through these main gates you gotta get through first. And then Harold pulls a intricate lever and it's like clockwork starts spinning and pieces of this gate start moving. Water just gets expunged out of the wall.
Oh.
or what if
It's a very
every
grand
time the gate
design.
opens, water floods in from the moors and say, and now you gotta clean up after yourself. Grab a bucket.
Okay.
Bring
Yeah.
out those clothes.
You all go on ahead.
Oh, he said you gotta get the bucket. That's all right. Here we go. Bucket in the streets. Bucket in the streets. Splash, splash. Terry's
You're doing
perhaps
great, Terry.
ineffectually. Yeah.
But you're asking about the ghost market? Be
And
careful what you
restaurants,
get there.
right?
The ghost restaurants too.
Do they sell food that we can eat?
Some of
Personally,
it.
I haven't tried. I haven't been relieved off this
All
shift
I
in many
know is
moons.
I've been told there's a market where one could find anything they want, should they have the inclination.
Anything
Sure.
worth finding, we got here.
Right here in good old Union.
Do you
You
need your
missed a
bucket back?
spot.
Yeah. How do we make this? Okay. The
Keep going,
bucket's
Terry.
just
You're doing
caked with.
wonderful.
Thanks. And I'm
First, the
gonna.
problem is when Cynthia goes through the water gate. It...
Yeah, I'm gonna try and describe a little something there as we're going. Um Terry is splashing out these waters and he just sees a little mud spirit, little mud god just kind of sitting by the edge of it and he's about to scoop it. He's like, "Oh, no." And he'll pick it up and move it off to the side and squish its fat little head. Like I'm kind of imagining like a little tadpole eye sort of thing looking out at it.
It's
Just in
just
the
like a
mud.
muddy Gudetama.
Yeah. It's a living. But yeah, just splash splash and then yeah, he'll get out of the way to let Cynthia through.
So these ghosts, they look like everyone else. Captain thinks we may have come across one on the road.
We don't abide by lawless folk in here. Some can get unruly and we boot 'em back out of town. That's why Harold and Stump always keep guard.
Who said anything about lawless folk?
Yeah.
I was talking about ghosts.
I think my buddy Stump here is a little confused. Ghosts. You know that they're ghosts for sure when they're not glowing. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but the ghosts don't glow. Everyone around these parts, they wear these fancy schmancy raincoats that glow in the rain.
No, I'm pretty sure the ghosts glow and the living don't, right?
Are you the
Huh?
one that lies? Didn't you say something about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Wait.
listen, if these raincoats are as good as you say they are, my buddy over here who can't stop bitching about his books is probably going to want to pick one up. Where can we get one of those?
All right, past the kite salesman.
Kite salesman.
Is that a fixture in town that you can just
He hasn't had
direct
enough
by?
money to leave.
Yeah.
That
That's
makes
Carl.
sense. Yeah. Oh, that sounds interesting. Um, I can't help but notice that neither of you are wearing raincoats. Are you?
They block my pores. Can't you see my perfect complexion? And then
Same
I
here.
have like the goiter that.
Yes, it's truly immaculate.
You must tell us your skincare routine.
I don't know. I might be a ghost.
I try to stay moisturized.
Well, I don't know a lot about ghosts. Do you feel like you have unfinished business?
Well, I gotta close this gate up, so hurry through and dry off.
It's
Okay.
unfinished. The water's still getting in.
Oh no.
You think this time the water is just
Flush.
continuously.
Terry is just like panting constantly.
I
He's-
think
He's got like 5 mud gods now in a row that he just keeps
They're just
scooping up.
watching you. They're like,
No, it's the same
judging.
one keeps like kind of coasting back in.
like,
Oh. Oh,
having a grand old time.
come on, Tara. Let's let these men get on about their business.
okay. Have
These
a
fine toads.
have a wonderful day.
Yeah,
Enjoy your visit.
you all go on ahead. I'll find you in a bit.
All right, Cap. We'll find an inn for the night. How about?
And I think to hammer in on Stump's confusion part is like as the gates close, you're just gonna hear, remember to watch out for the glowing ones.
No, it's wrong. We've been over this.
Just we leave them to their almost a marital-esque bickering.
Mm.
I like it. So it sounds like Primrose is heading off to kind of do her own thing. Is anybody going along, or is Primrose trying to take some time for herself?
I mean, anybody's welcome to come along. She's not rushing off.
I think Pocket is gonna be heading pretty or making a pretty straight beeline towards the market or a stall to try and hitch Cynthia up. Slash, I need to take a break for a second, so go ahead.
Murado is also rushing for shelter to get their books in a dry place, so they'll be in charge of getting the inn.
I'm going to see if I can track down the people that I heard were still in this area. My contacts.
Terry will go with Pocket. I feel like they're a pair there. So.
Okay, so those of you are all heading towards the market, and Primrose is going off on her lonesome.
What's Primrose gonna do?
Primrose is going to basically find an elevated position, like go up on this kind of like it's not like a heavily fortified city, because again there's kind of these series of water locks to keep the city from flooding. So she's going to find a way to kind of climb up onto one of these posts.
Yeah.
And she's basically going to just stare out into the moors for a time.
I like the idea
Waiting.
that your like pensive staring is interrupted by like the head of a giraffe who's like also on the level with you on top of this like high place, just like,
Hey, buddy, what
Ma'am?
you doing? Ma'am, tips the hat.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't notice you there.
everything all right?
Yes. And again, kind of the tap on the pommel. I'm just waiting for someone.
Well, do you want company while you wait, or you want to be left in peace?
There's nothing wrong with a little company.
Is the giraffe wearing a coat of some kind, like a raincoat?
Yeah, we'll say he's got the raincoat and it's
Does it
glowing.
glow? Oh,
It is
glowing,
gonna
yeah.
glow. Yeah, we're gonna say he's
A ghost.
Hello. Not from around these parts then? Notice you're not wearing a coat against the elements.
No, yeah, this kind of like Primrose is at this point thoroughly just soaked. And down to the fur. But no, I from fairly far away.
Got much farther to go, or is this your destination?
That's We've got a long, long way to go.
I think if you're like tapping the pommel on your
Mhm.
sword, he'll, it looks like a mighty fine piece of metal you got there, ma'am.
Yeah, it's I had it made by a silversmith across the sea.
Well, I hope it served you well, but I hope you haven't had to use it.
Oh, it wasn't mine.
Mm.
It was a gift for someone. In a way, I guess it didn't serve them well in the end.
These last few years in Heath, it's been a hard time.
Yeah.
A lot of loss. Hopefully better days are ahead. Buddy of
Yes.
mine, he went to war and he came back, but didn't really come back.
Yeah, none of us did. Although, those who didn't, I like to think, are still with us.
That's a nice way of thinking about it. I think you might, if you're so inclined, the shrine here in town, a lot of folks thinking about those they've lost and mourning seem to find some comfort there. And he'll like reach down his long neck and you hear the sound of like fabric ripping and he's like torn off the pocket of his raincoat because he's so big.
Mhm.
You just like set it next to you and he's like, in case you need shelter.
Oh, thank you. And I'll take this kind of glowing square and kind of drape it over myself.
Mhm.
And Primrose is going to basically wait for another 10 minutes watching the mist.
I think
Um, waiting for the ghost of her lover to who will never materialize before she heads to the shrine.
Yeah. I think the draft will wait with you for a few minutes, but then kind of gets the vibe that you're here to be alone and ma'am, and just walk on off.
Oh shit!
And I think
Left my
the four
car
of
keys
you
in that pocket.
And I think as the other four of you are heading towards the market, whether to desperately seek shelter for books or to find a place to hitch Cynthia, just bursting in front of this, just blocking your way. And like there's all these crowds of people who have kind of made way for the giant beetle, but this weasel in a very kind of a very nice suit with a bowler hat, just this white weasel, says, "Excuse me, travelers. Can I just take a moment of your precious time?"
Sure, what can I do for you?
Oh, it's not what you can do for me, it is what I can do for you. For you see, you have had the pleasure of stumbling into Carl's Kites and Windsails.
Yeah. Kix
Lightning
is just
crackles
gonna
overhead, the wind picks up.
mutter under her breath as she just at this point she's gonna split from the group and she's just gonna mutter under her breath, Christ, don't give him any of your money.
You fine folks seem like you are great enjoyers of a nice sunny day.
You can't beat it. I can't help but notice you have all these kites set up. Why don't you use them as like head coverings?
No, you see, kites aren't for sheltering. They're for whimsy. They're for enjoyment. They're a
Aren't you?
frolic in the hills.
As one merchant to another, I don't mean to rain on your parade, but is it safe to have all these kites out flying with so much thunder and lightning going on
Ah,
above
you
us?
see, one should always purchase kites in the off season. Better deals. Get in early. You know you're gonna want that kite eventually, so you might as well buy it today.
And is this
Half
thread or
price.
metal wire?
Don't worry about that.
Is that I
It's the
I'm not
finest
a
string for the finest of kites.
I'm not exactly an expert in kites, but are they supposed to have this much twine holding them together?
No, they're the most exquisite craftsmanship. They're imported, you know.
I think
Imported from
Only the
where?
best.
yeah.
They're imported from the great village of and he kind of like stops for a second.
Pocket.
Ch-
I think we need to get some kites.
Why do you want a kite?
I did a little something on the road, and he pulls out his deck of cards and shows you one that says the sun, but it's very clearly like a replacement card that he made himself because he lost the
You
original.
hand drew it.
Yeah, it's got a little smiley face on it. This is showing me that there's going to be a break in the clouds any day. We could make a killing.
Are you sure about that? You've been saying
I've-
that for weeks.
I've never been more positive of anything in my life.
Mm. And I'll do a. I imagine Cynthia may still be chewing on some of the long, like, marsh grass, and so I'll pluck one of the things like out of the stack she's chewing on, and like.
Are you trying to smoke that?
Just. All right, kind sir. Well, as you can see from my wares here, we have a fine selection of various goods, sundries, and oddities that one could perhaps choose from, and I think I may have a deal for you. We can help each other quid pro quo to benefit both of
I
our
love
respectable
those
businesses.
words. Have a
Now
nice
listen,
jingle to
listen, you
them.
got these kites, They look great. They look handmade. It definitely looks personally handcrafted and not from that table that I can see in the back there. Now, but if we're selling these in the off season, I can see that that fabric's going to get wet and that's going to sag down and that's going to be heavy. But you know what you could use? Beeswax. Rub some of this fine material on top of your fabric kites and they'll make them waterproof. The rain will slick right off the back and anyone can fly a kite. Maybe not in this thunderstorm, but any time that they may well please. And this can be yours for the price of only 3 of
Five.
your current offering of
Five.
kites. Five of your. I'll throw in this here
Wow, is
bushel
that
of apples.
beeswax? Is that beeswax? I simply have to have it.
Kix, I feel like that should be your job.
No, Kix left. I saw the con
Oh,
man
damn it.
coming. I
I
was like,
left as well.
good luck.
So
I-
it's just Terry
Terry's-
talking out of the
Terry's
side of his mouth.
No, it's not even out of the side of his mouth. He's just like, I've seen Kix do this and doesn't really gather what the scheme is here. I gotta have it. I'll give almost anything for that.
So Carl the Weasel kind of crinkles his nose. All right, 4 kites and you got a deal.
4.5.
He reaches out his hand to shake yours. And he
We're talking
literally
like a
goes and
straight
he
down the
rips, he
middle?
takes he rips one of these like triangular kites literally in half. And gives you 4.5 kites.
I call that a. Now, Terry, that's how we do it in the biz.
We took this guy to the washers. That's what Kix says, I think. We're also right in front of Carl still. Okay. Well, Carl, it's been a pleasure making a deal with you. I'm sure we'll come back with any of our kite related needs. You don't sell anything else, do you?
Oh, once I move all these kites, you'll be sure to see me again. And it kind of tips its bowler hat.
Okay, that's a A vague and somewhat concerning answer.
And as you walk away, you see like this raccoon comes around the corner, and they exchange something
Oh no.
that it's not, and it's not kites.
It is not the beeswax
And
immediately.
it's not the
Just turn it
beeswax.
around.
They clearly do like a palm handoff. And he like puts it into he's wearing a green vest, I
Yeah.
think.
The Dawn sends his regards. It's a little mole man. Awesome. Well, let's take a pause there for a short break, and we'll get back. I want to see what Murado is getting up to, and Kix as well. So we will be back in a few minutes.
Stay tuned till next time. Wait.
And welcome back.
Last time on Wanderhome.
I really
Things
should have had the,
were really sad and also really funny.
I should have had the JoJo to be continued. If
Oh,
I'm really
edit that
feeling
in, please.
Oh yeah, that'll be that easy. All right,
Speaking of
so
copyright strikes.
yeah, right. City is downpouring. Murado, you are going where? You're going to the inn?
Yes. Oh dear, it's raining. Keep them dry.
I like to think too at the same time, like all of these really unfortunate events keep happening, like a horse runs by and like a big splash puddle hits you, or like somebody like dumps some water out of a second story window. Yeah.
I'm
There
also
is-
imagining Murado is taking their giant peacock feathers and like holding them over their
Yeah.
head to like as some
Yes.
sort of umbrella.
There is a line of duck children all dressed in their bright rain thing, just following their mom. Oh, oh.
I'm busting through like the Kool-Aid man.
Oh yeah.
Stay in school.
My
I
books!
feel like you stumble into an inn that's packed to
Oh
the
no.
gills, and it's like the kind of the ground floor has a little bit of like a bar, restaurant, pub feel.
I
But
like the
every-
idea that it's a family of like 20 lemmings.
Yes,
and they're
it's all
all
the
like
same, yes.
talking all over
Mhm.
each other, and
And just behind the counter is this giant like ram.
Oh.
And I
This-
also think that in the indoor settings, like in the inn, there's just a rack of the raincoats that have been taken off. So you can't
Ah.
tell who may be alive or dead, as there's nothing to glow or nod.
This gives me anxiety, and I look around.
Yeah,
I will
there's
wait in
there's maybe like
line.
one spot at like one table left
the
that you
end.
have to sit next to. Yeah, at the end. And there's a few lemmings, like a rabbit, a duck. Like there's just it's just packed.
I like to think
Uh.
there's a cozy corner where there's like an old bear smoking a pipe in an armchair.
I'll go after the bear. Does the line start here?
Um,
No, the
Go
lion's
ahead,
over
Morgan,
there.
you got it. Go ahead,
Oh.
Morgan. You're there.
there's no line. This is kind of a seat yourself kind of deal.
Oh, I'm looking for a room for my friends.
Oh, a room. Well, that's you're gonna have to take it up with the boss. And he points to the giant ram.
The
behind
boss
the
seems a
counter.
little busy.
The ram is just sitting there, just flipping aimlessly through like logbooks.
Just avoiding
Oh,
all
well,
the lemmings.
there's just while you wait, have a seat, and it kind of shifts over, and there's like a little.
Okay, I'll
spot
take
to
a
sit.
seat. Thank you. You're too kind.
Oh, there's no. Don't mention it. Would you like some mead?
Oh, I've
Best
given that
honey
up.
this
Tea would
side of the
do.
moor.
Tea with the honey would do. May I
So where are
interest
you
you?
coming from?
Oh, I'm coming from a long ways away. I grew up in the a city composed of shipwrecks.
Oh, a lot of honey and shipwrecks.
No, that was an
Oh,
acquired
I can
taste.
see why you left then.
Now the honey is great with cheese. Have you tried?
Honey with cheese. Honey is just good with everything, I think. But I'll definitely.
Cheese in particular, I'll get us a plate.
Oh, that's that's wonderful of you. What is your name? Uh,
Oh, you can call me Morado.
well, Morado, it's lovely meeting you. My name is Bartholomew.
Bartholomew. That's such a powerful name.
Pooh.
That's a very powerful name, Bartholomew.
Why, thank you.
Now, what brings you to these parts?
Oh,
Come here often?
You see, I'm kind of laying low.
Oh, scandalous.
You see, I used to run with a crew a while back. We had
A heist?
I would say the acquisition of a particular rare vintage of honey. Things may have gone, well, not to plan. Our plan was to meet up back here, and I've been waiting in this rain for weeks now, but I've been enjoying every moment of it. And again, he just takes another long huff of his pipe and a long drink of the honey mead. I mean, mead is all honey. I don't know why I had to specify that.
So I'm going to use
Ooh.
some things that I can always do. Now, what can we learn from this?
We can learn that one should always enjoy oneself when one can.
The door crashes open, and another bear in a large, or a very like a large glowing trench coat comes in, and you can see he's got like a duck bill just strapped around. Hey, I'm looking for a friend that's around here.
Hey!
Oh, oh shit, Bartholomew, it's me.
Oh, I barely recognized you. The disguise is incredible as always.
Oh dear, what have I gotten myself into?
This is my good friend Murado, and the other bear will sit down, so now you're sandwiched between them and can't get up.
No.
Awesome. I thought you'd have trouble finding a safe cracker for us.
I know a bit about safes.
Oh my god, he's an expert. Excellent. You'll fit right in. Although this disguise is a little kind of picking it like your teacher outfit. It's a little obvious, don't you think?
I suppose I need to get a bear mask.
Wait, are you not a yeah, sure. Yes. Then wouldn't they know we're bears?
No, don't. Look, if they think that we're bears, they'll never expect it. It's the last thing they think we
Yeah.
disguise ourselves as.
That's
if you
right.
think about it.
What kind of idiot would disguise himself as
Themselves.
themselves? Gee.
I've read a lot of mystery novels, and this tracks.
Holy buckets. This peacock's an expert. All right.
At this point, I
Continue
feel
your
like
drinks.
the ram is gonna walk over.
Who's the ram?
There's just this hot steam of as like a sharp exhale through that ram. What can I get you?
Water for the duck. Quack and whatnot.
Do you have rooms available, sir?
One water, one room, one nothing mead.
Another
No
mead and some cheese, I think.
What
Oh,
kind
also-
of cheese?
The cheese is quite good with honey.
We'll call it the cheese of the day.
Oh, and could you, I don't know, just also get us the blueprints for the Union National Bank?
Behind these big bushy eyebrows, they just kind of like, if you've seen Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, they just slowly raise up, and you see these like amber eyes are just a little surprised. Come again?
I'm sorry, that must be off menu.
Wait,
I'm waiting
can
for...
I spend a token to edit the scene? Is that how it works?
You know, you
Yeah,
can spend
yeah.
a token to kind of interject and get what it is you want out of this, I think.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think the plans to the bank are obviously going to be provided by the kite salesman.
Oh, I like it.
So the kite salesman probably comes in through the door.
Comes in accompanied by a honey badger, I think. So yeah, so this very tall white weasel with red eyes and this bowler hat.
Why does this keep happening?
And he takes off his bowler hat and so are your associates here?
Yeah, they're right there. They're right there. Hey guys.
I just need a room.
Yeah, Bartholomew, they recognized you. Oh my God. Yeah, duck down, duck down.
Look, we got
Hello,
a guy.
stranger.
He's got a thing. He knows the thing.
Holy cow.
He's got the thing.
Yes.
The
Cancel
thing?
my order. I just need the water. Thanks.
I'm holding a notepad with my hooves, which is somehow much more difficult to envision than I thought. And then just like there's a little pin that's kind of clasped between this cloven hoof, and there's just like a lot of marking. I grab the paper and chew it. All right. That's one
Look,
water.
if I do this one job, can you make a room available?
Yeah, sure.
Are you talking to the ram?
Am I in on this now?
My
I
friend.
feel like I'm an accessory at this point.
Fade to black, scene missing. Hey, I got us rooms.
We're in.
I think it is appropriate to just fade to black.
Yeah. No, that's great.
That's great.
All right. And let's
Kicks, right?
Kicks, yeah.
Yeah.
Kicks.
Yeah, I think Kix is wandering into the like less savory parts of town where the apartment buildings become closer and closer together and the alleyways have like lines of laundry strung between buildings and the merchants here are less, gregarious as the weasel with the kites and more just like straight up shady. Kix is looking for an old, we're not gonna say for associate, a fox by the name of Booth. Last she heard, he was around these parts.
Well, I think that in your wandering the alleys looking for Booth, I think it's Booth that finds you.
Mm.
And there's like this voice from like behind. Well, it's been a while since you've been around here, Kix.
Yeah, I think with the voice like right behind, Kix is like doing the spin, like with the knife, and maybe he's got the knife too,
Yep,
and they're like, ah.
It becomes kind of like that Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah.
Of the, like
Been a while, Booth.
Sharp as ever, sharp as ever.
What are you doing around these parts?
Oh, keeping my ear to the ground, doing this and that.
Yeah, they run you out of the court of the Mountain King finally. Figured out you weren't the noble gentleman you were claiming.
Well, the thing is, by the time they finally figure out that your noble title's a forgery, you've gotten enough lavish gifts to make it all worthwhile.
Yeah. Was the gang still around?
I don't know.
Scattered to the winds after that job?
Yeah. Kind of several of them got on the wrong side of a particular weasel.
That sells the kites?
Yeah.
Damn, he's better than I thought. He just looked like a chump to me.
That's the thing about him. He seems like a complete moron, and for the most part, he is.
Yeah,
He's
look,
got,
can
he's got
you
enough connections.
yeah, look, you seen Rudy around? He and I have some unfinished business.
Look, the thing about the location of Rudy is that's information that don't come cheap. And kind of starts picking at his teeth with like the knife.
Yeah, okay, what do you want? Because Rudy and I have a score to settle.
Well, I mean, yeah. I saw you coming in. You've got that big beetle with you.
Not mine.
Oh. Oh, you've come to start respecting the notion of private property these days.
I'm not a thief, and you fucking know it.
Hmm. Well, if there's nothing you can get me from the beetle kicks, I don't know. No, what do you got?
Not much.
Hmm.
They take everything from you when you go in, you know.
Yeah, I've heard.
Didn't
Never
exactly
experienced
I
it
didn't
firsthand,
exactly
though.
leave by their own accord, so.
Yeah, always give you. I mean, they leave you with enough material, you'll fashion a rope out of it eventually.
So you want the beetle? Is that what you want?
I don't want the beetle. It's
Then
too
what is it?
big. I want something on the beetle.
What the hell's the beetle got you want?
I don't know. I mean, you know better than me. That old that old raccoon's got to have something worth my
All
while.
right. Give me a
Or that
day.
that mouse friend of yours. That sword seems awfully expensive.
All right, fine. Just give me a day or two.
All right. I'll be day or two. You'll find me or I'll find you. And with that, he kind of slinks away in the kind of the into the mist.
I think Kix just kind of stands a little lost in this alleyway among the crooks and beggars. She has nothing anymore after leaving prison, so she just kind of walks away in the rain eventually.
I can't believe that you went through being spooked from behind by a fox and you did not immediately.
So where are we with Pocket and Tara? No, actually we haven't landed on Primrose in a minute. I think she was headed to the shrine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so Primrose was making her way through the city streets. I mean, she's just glowing because her raincoat is basically this massive square of this material that she's just like wrapped herself up in.
I like the idea that as you get closer to the shrine, the crush of bodies gets more and more of them. It's like half glowing raincoats, half not glowing raincoats.
Yeah, maybe we see that a big batch of them kind of have like the spears and everything, like an old kind of war thing, but they are also trudging kind of towards that shrine that we mentioned before you could see the lights for.
Yeah, and so kind of just eyes ahead, wrapped up, just pressing her way forward until she gets there. So I think that as the city kind of sprawls out from the shrine, you do kind of go up a hill, so there's like water that's almost at this point pushing Primrose back down the hill, but she trudges
Let's say then that kind of near this shrine, right? Like what are we imagining the shrine looks like for this kind of like, is it a gateway? Is it a statue?
Maybe it looks like a Tory gate.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like it.
And I think I'm envisioning like a bunch of like crocodile attendants to it that are wearing kind of the same outfit that Terry wears, but maybe with like little traces of the glowing just to set them off. But they kind of look like they're dark but with traces of light, so they're in the middle. And they seem to be sorting the crowd. Living, dead, living, dead.
So I guess Primrose reaches one of them, and is ushered towards the living side of the gate. And I feel like
Right
that
this way.
Around the Tory gate there are all these like little pools that catch the rain. And so at this point they're overflowing, but people will like put little flowers to float, and they kind of exist, like they kind of swirl around before they're like washed down and out. And Primrose will go up to one of these like pools, and she'll, not unsheathing it, but she takes the sword in its scabbard and kind of lays it across the pool. And just kneeling in front of it with this glowing, the light from the cloak is kind of shimmering over everything. And she just kind of whispers, stroking the sword, like, Mabel, Mabel, are you here?
Yeah. What's Mabel? What
Mabel
was Mabel?
Mabel was a squirrel.
Yeah, you'll let's say you hear from behind you. I'm here, Primrose.
Just kind of the electric like just tingles. And Primrose doesn't look behind her. And she says, it's it's so nice to hear you, Mabel.
Nice to see you too. Didn't think you'd be the kind that would come up this way. All fable and superstition and such.
Well, if there's the slimmest of chances, I take any of the slimmest of chances to see you again.
Yeah. You always were a risk taker. Sword's
Well,
gonna get rusty, you leave it there.
no,
I seem
not
to remember
this.
you chewing my ass out for leaving that in the rain one time.
Yeah, this is a. Well, then that's appropriate, I guess. Your sword in the rain, after all.
Yeah, well, suppose you don't need it anymore anyways.
Mm, true. If only just a little longer, and you wouldn't have needed it either. Just a little longer.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes. We knew the risks. You just gonna keep
And
sitting there in the mud?
I think I'm just gonna sit here for a good long while.
Um, wow, you've definitely changed a little bit.
That's the thing about living. You can't help but change.
Eh, Come on, where's the, and you'll feel like a wet sort of hand on your shoulder. Come on, where's that fire? Isn't there some of that still in you?
Mhm. Well, do you remember the name I had embossed on the sword? The the name to mark our union.
Well, that's actually a funny name for the town, huh?
Huh. Union.
Rose and Sugar, I believe.
Hmm. Rose and sugar. And at that, I'll stand up and I'll turn around, and I feel like there's nothing but mist there.
I also imagine during that whole conversation that it was all of the noise and the crowd seemed to just die down into almost nothing. And then just as you stand up and then turn back around, it all just kind of rushes back in around you again. But for a moment, you just felt alone or somewhere else.
Really, and then kind of waiting a little ways back from the pool is a kind of as a vole, kind of dressed in like in one of these raincoats, and there's like a little vole with them, and they seem to be holding little little flowers, and so Primrose will take the sword and kind of let them use this pool and start going back down the hill to find the others.
Right. Pocket, what's going on at this market?
So I think that the market is bustling in full swing, and it's one of the few outdoor areas that is not constantly suffused with rain. I'm imagining very much like a bazaar, and they have these like sheets of fabric, maybe even the same sheets that are used to make the raincoats are kind of draped over and between lots of these different stalls. There are, between all the different wooden stalls, there's usually hay or something that you can purchase. That way people can have their pack beetles set up. Maybe some of the more permanent fixtures actually have a storefront that someone could walk into. Each merchant actually needs to bring their own kind of covering. And I think Pocket may have been spending most of this time. He took apart two, or I should say, two and a half of the kites that we got, as I mostly just needed them to make a little bit of a covering. And I mixed it with, I pulled these kind of soggy bits of like some kind of a tap, or not a tapestry, like a canvas, and unfurl them, and they are these soaked, just like drooping portraits of Murado in all of these regal settings. And I've been stitching like these crappy kite fabric and then Murado's ruined portraits together to make kind of a canvas top. On the back of one of them, I needed to, like, all right, Terry, we need a sign. I tried to get Pockets Emporium to get the P sounds down. My accent's changing every time we come up, but it's, I feel like you gotta know your market. I
You
think
gotta
I
go
heard a
with
Southern
go
accent.
with the road. Yeah, yeah.
You gotta
Yeah,
go
the
with the
southern
flow, just
accent
like
will
that.
just draw you in.
That's my customer service accent. It's how y'all doing now. But anyways, we need to get a name that we can, people will want to buy stuff. I have everything full mercantile. But what if we do Pocket and Terry's fried potatoes? No, that's not good. That's not good. I think we got to workshop that.
Terry fried potatoes?
No, I got to be in there too,
Oh,
dadgummit.
um, Pockets fried potatoes featuring Terry?
I kind of sketch all of the names out, and then like the feature, it's like feature. Nothing would fit on the rest of the camp.
We're just sitting there looking at this sign.
As you're putting that sign up, right? It blocks your view and you're putting it up, and then the camera pans to the rooftops where there's a crew of bears going towards the bank. And
Is Murado with them?
Murado is with them. But
Like-
then the camera pans back to Pocket and Terry.
You happen to glance down at the can or the what is it, like the tarp that's covering everything, and just be like, that looks familiar. Oh, sorry.
I'm wearing a bear mask.
God.
Somehow you get back to the sign and it's like fried cabbage now. Somehow that's changed. And we're like, wait, we don't even have any cabbage. What are we doing?
Every time I'm having to like hold the back of this last one of Murado's canvases out to like rinse the ink back off before it dries. All right, what about P and Terry's famous fried potatoes?
It's something. Pateries? I feel like the P is silent.
Maybe we just put a dot between it. That way it's a P and a Terry.
P dot Terry.
Yeah.
You know what? I could get behind that. I could get behind that.
Because we don't have enough room for Pocket and Terry. And I'm fine with you taking the lead on this because I'm the one that's going to be making a profit.
Yeah.
I mean,
we have not started to cook anything at this point. We're just
Not at
talking
all.
about this, probably chewing on a potato, as we're going, eating our profits.
Well, I feel like
No, go ahead.
as you're debating between more about the name and less of the actual making of the product, I think that as Murado is on the way, reluctant to be a reluctant accessory to this heist, you pass Primrose coming back down the hill. And she looks up and she sees you because you're a peacock, so you're very noticeable, and you've got this bear mask.
You also notice the kite salesman gliding along the air.
And she'll just say like, Murado, what are you doing?
And you're yelling that up to the rooftops?
Yeah, at which point I think Bartholomew would go like, "We've been made!
Yeah.
Scatter!" And everybody
It's the
Yeah,
cars.
everyone scatters.
because there's this armored mouse with a sword that's just like,
Employee Operation Kite. Go, go, go.
Yeah, everyone starts
Until they
gliding.
jump.
yeah.
They
They're
didn't tell
way
me
too
they had a
heavy.
rep.
You hear one of the
Ow.
bears smash through a window.
Sorry, ma'am.
I
As
take
far-
the bear mask off and I descend. Oh, hi Primrose.
What are you? Made
I got us
new
some
friends?
rooms.
Oh,
There's a crashing that's like going down story by story in this crooked apartment building from
Ooh.
Bartholomew jumping into
rooms.
the window.
I could curl up for a good long while by a fire.
Crank, clash, crunch.
Well, good thing I got some rooms.
Yeah,
I did my part.
It's no. Are your books safe?
Oh yes, they're very safe. They're in a
Okay.
cozy room at the inn.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Let's here, and I'll kind of like pull some of this long square around to like shelter you from the rain as well.
I picked detritus out of my feathers.
Mhm. I suppose the two of us will wander back down to where Pocket and Terry have set up shop.
Oh,
Have you
my
seen
back.
Kix?
Not since we got here. I don't know where
what's
she's
Kix
gone.
doing?
Yeah, probably at this point, Kix is kind of like, yeah, wandering in from an alley somewhere. What are you two chuckleheads arguing about now?
The sign now says Kix's famous lettuce wraps.
Why is my name on this?
That's what I was saying.
That's a terrible drawing of a possum, by the way. Doesn't look anything like me.
Yeah,
Just like a
Terry,
face
that doesn't look
screaming like-
anything like her.
What? Yeah, I'm not the one that drew.
It looks
I-
like the art piece, The Scream.
Yeah,
Hey, Murado, I think
we're
that
not paying you for that.
I think one of the merchants down there sells really nice, like waterproof backpacks.
Oh, that'd be so lovely. I
Oilcloth
recently
or
came
some
across
such.
some coin.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Well, look at you, Murado. You're being a better merchant than I ever could be. I haven't
Very
gotten coin in
entrepreneurial of
weeks.
you.
Oh, it was a favor for a friend. In the background, you see a bear covered in honey running. From...
Just like a bucket in its arms.
Is that Bartholomew?
Go, go, go.
Oh,
Also,
Oh,
imagine there's
yes.
feathers that's just
that
like
group
covered.
was,
Oh, you know him?
yeah, from back in the day. They're just a bunch of, incompetent. It is incredible that they are still, like, they've managed to avoid jail.
Well, I think they're very kind people.
You always see the best in folks, Murado.
So are Pocket and Terry still arguing?
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's going to default to there is a ton of, instead of all the small text being at the bottom, it's just like a ton of very cramped text and then says fried potatoes in
Yeah.
large at the bottom. It's like we got the main message, but we couldn't agree on
And
any
I think
name.
We got it.
at this point, there's like this this turtle walks over, kind of stretches its neck out. Can I get some freed
This,
plantains, please?
do you
As-
see any fried plantains here? We haven't had time.
I imagine the turtle is asking this so slowly that like free, and then like there's a pause. Terry's like, or Pocket's like, go, 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 and so it's like chopping and furiously trying to get oil heated up
the
to
turtle's
finish
got
the order before they.
it's got these like this tiny little pair of glasses that are just covered with water droplets.
Oh.
Welcome, kind sir, madam, to Pocket and Terry and Kix and Murado's world famous French fried, no, not French, it's just regular fried potatoes.
It's amazing that we put the French, no, not French regular on the sign, but you can see it right there. And I want to know, is Kix like, this is a distraction and a half. Is Kix going to take anything for Booth?
Booth's gone.
Yeah,
The
Booth's
fox?
not here. Yeah, but I mean,
Oh, for Booth. I thought you
yeah,
said
for Booth,
from
yeah.
Booth.
yeah, yeah.
My bad. Yeah, there's this chaos, and there is a moment where Kix is just staring down. What's Primrose doing? Are you just kind of like trying to like mitigate this whole conversation, or what are you doing?
Primrose is just kind of like is tapping on her the
The
pommel.
pommel. Okay.
And
yeah,
is kind of whistling something. You hear her saying something about you're expecting it's about the trumpets, but no, she's now just saying rose and sugar to
Oh.
herself. It's she's not really paying attention to what's going on.
And I think
She
is
seems to be-
maybe oh sorry.
Yeah,
I
she's
think
just
it's-
staring into the rain. I'm like,
Say
You
what
go,
you're gonna say,
you-
Morgan.
I was
Here,
like,
finish it.
she's just again, she's like only like half listening
Yeah.
to the like what the hell is going on. She's mostly just staring off into the crowds of people going by.
Lex, what were you gonna say?
Thank you for arbitrating. And I think that maybe as Kix's eyes start narrowing and like they focus in on the sword or something, and like those old habits and temptations are coming back, there's a little bit of an echo. Gex, 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 Gex. Come on, we need somebody handy with a knife. We got to cut these potatoes.
Oh. Yeah. Sure.
And what looked like just this complete mess of things on Cynthia's side, Pocket scrambles up and unlatches, and so like some of the crates just down and instantly make a large table, grabbing some of the potatoes, handing them to Kix to try, and I assume you're handy enough with a knife that maybe you can even just not paying attention.
Yeah. He was like, yeah. mhm.
Why do
Hey,
you always
Murado.
stab the potato first?
Murado,
What's up?
do you trust me?
Yes.
Excellent. So you're gonna get a token. Take this token, go down 3 stalls down that way. There's a monkey selling waterproof backpacks. Give him the coin. Don't let him try to talk you into paying whatever the cost is. Give him this instead. He'll give you one of those backpacks. Then we can stop listening to your grousing about the books.
Hey, okay.
A grouse in the crowd turns a little bird head going, hey.
Sorry. But like it's like I'm kind of grumbling about your grumbling, but at the same time it's like a little bit of that caring, like, here, just take it, damn it, go get a book, get a bag.
Oh, okay. Monkey, don't trust the monkey. Okay.
No, just don't let him try to talk you into buying it with whatever money you've got. Give him the token, he'll give you a backpack.
Okay. Lesson learned. I'll run down.
Yeah, there's like a little golden faced snub-nosed monkey. Those are so cute. And he's got all manner of like backpacks. He's got his little raincoat on.
Hello, sir.
Hey, a fine customer. How are you today?
Good. I'd like to buy one backpack, please.
We got all kinds of backpacks. We got waterproof backpacks. We got leather backpacks. Very nice. Dragon scale. We've got silk, only the finest for those of the highest class. What can I offer for you?
I'll take a waterproof backpack.
Are you sure? Waterproof. It is 100% waterproof. And he like pulls it down and he's like dumping water on it and then showing you like the inside. It's like, feel inside, totally dry.
I'll
But are you
feel
sure I
inside.
can't interest you in something a little bit more fancy? A fine peacock like yourself deserves something beautiful to really showcase that natural beauty.
Oh, please. You're flattering me, but I put those days behind me.
I fully imagine in this shop that you have essentially like a grid of ropes and all of these bags and backpacks are hanging from the ropes, but you just like reach up and that's how you monkey like swing between them, grabbing something down.
Yep. Well, if you insist, then it is my job to serve my fine customers. That'll be 10 coin.
10 coin? That's a lot.
Why is that a leather waterproof backpack? I simply must have it. There's another monkey walking.
Oh, good sir. Well, I have to tell you, there is only one of these left.
Wow, I would pay upwards of 20 coins for
This
such
monkey
an
looks
amazing.
suspiciously
20?
like your
That's a
vendor, by the
bargain.
way. Like, they could be twins.
There's an
Oh.
orangutan that's been sitting in the corner. You thought that it was just like a pile of something. Oh, 20, that's a bargain.
Oh, man.
Amazing deal.
Well, now I have to tell you, sir, this fine peacock in front of me was the first person to
Drat.
approach. So I will give them the first chance to make an offer.
The best I can do is this, and I put out the token that Kix presented.
And like,
Take it or
seriously
leave it. I
considering
can go somewhere else.
You don't want to get on the wrong side of Booth. Just take the token.
The token, yeah, the token definitely has some like some etching on it. Maybe, yeah. A banana.
they just lose all color. when they
Yeah,
see it.
it's I don't know. I'll have to think about what the tokens look like. I haven't decided yet. So he just looks it over.
It's a banana
The-
coin.
And
Donkey's gonna go crazy for those.
the other monkey's like, I'll give you 50.
No, we're not doing that anymore.
20,
Fine.
that's a bargain. Wait, what?
Fine. And he like throws
Fine.
the backpack at you.
Oh, it hits me in the face. I pick it up from the mud.
Tell Rudy this is the last favor he gets out of me.
Okay. I'll scamper off. Clearly uncomfortable. I'm getting wrapped up in all sorts of unscrupulous views.
Please,
Back at the potato hut.
Yeah, let's kind of have a final scene as we're getting back around the potato hut. What's everybody doing as we're joining back together? Because I'm imagining Terry at least is now full on in the process of frying these potatoes and throwing out plates. He's in the middle, and every once in a while he'll stop and be like do a card reading for somebody in the middle of it, but it's very like rushed. Yeah, 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 yeah. You got 5 years to live. Now, what are you ordering? You know,
Murata would be advertising like using their teacher like abilities. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. Best fried potatoes in the city.
That's fucking great.
Incredible.
We were struggling to get people's attention, and then Murado just does the.
I think Primrose is at this point inside the inn, sitting by the trying to dry herself out by the fire. And is kind of doing her hands are all tangled up in this rope as she's trying to do some kind of knot that Kix showed her the other day. And it's just getting worse. But again, she's just kind of meditatively just saying rose and sugar, trying to figure out this
I think
rope thing.
Pocket is definitely taking orders, kind of doing the front of house duties and calling them out to Terry. We ran out of plates fairly early on because people kept taking them and walking them off, and like they were porcelain plates that I was intending to sell. And I'm having to dip into the rest of my like other supplies that I was planning on selling, including like painters, the thick nice paper like that, and then like ripping bits ripping bits off, making them into a cone. That way Terry's like putting French fries into a cone people can take around with them. And but
the
like
kites are becoming napkins.
yes, but I am very much like dipping into supplies that I was planning on selling, so it is very questionable if I'm making any profit whatsoever.
I think at the end of once things have settled and we've hit a rhythm, Kix is going to step away and find Primrose, and she's muttering to herself and making these knots, and there's a moment where Kix is just considering the easy mark, and she thinks and then, no, Cap, come on, you got to do it like this. You got to do the loop. You remember I told you, the bunny ears, then over the hill.
It's the bunny ears. I always forget the bunny ears.
Yeah, that's how. Come on, let's work through it again.
I like that. And we kind of see in the background, maybe out the window, is this hustle and bustle, and then it's kind of quiet inside, and we'll pan away as the ram is coming by to serve you the tea, and everything is we wrap up a session in the town, in the city, the metropolis of Union. Very nice. All right, thanks for playing, everybody.
What'd you think, Alex? Honest opinions.
That was very warm and sweet, and
Yeah.
grossly sweet.
It's not always the vibe you want.
No, it's good.
100%.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely say one of my favorite things about the game from the outset is we can sort of ask a vibe check for what we are interested in pursuing. I remember specifically there was one session that we wanted to hit more of an emotional chord. And instead of just like a nice kind of cozy, soft adventure, we went into loss and grief and death from the war. And like it was really emotional.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the system.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
we
a lot of fun.
also, sorry, go ahead.
Morgan's always really good about kind of bringing in the more emotional side of things, the slower scenes, which is a nice mix in there to have of the the quiet sword and the puddle of the shrine, and then back to a little bit more madcap. That feels very Ghibli to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Just the
No,
emotional beats in the middle of this kind of whimsy.
Well, I think that's like one of the beautiful things about a kind of a GM-less system, because with a system where there is somebody kind of acting as that primary narrative voice, there is kind of that they set a lot of the tone,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but with like everybody can bring what it is that they want to the game, and so it kind of becomes this beautiful kind of patchwork.
And apparently,
Experience.
we keep bringing what we want as Honey Heist into
I
this
know.
game.
This is the second time we've brought those bears in, Alex,
Mhm.
and the first
Oh.
time we did a full-on honey heist with them.
Nice.
We got completely distracted from whatever it was we were doing.
That's
Whatever
why
we
I
were
like
trying
the
to
the
accomplish.
blackout. You know, the fade to
Yeah.
black.
Yeah.
Something happens.
Yeah, I thought that was very effective.
That's good. Yeah.
I was very
Don't
tempted
need
to
to dive
have
in.
someone come up at the end and be like, "Here's your cut. Great job." And you're like, "Wait, you finished it? What'd you do?
Great.
Why are
Yeah,
there?
this is a lot of fun.
It's just clams. Why did you hand me a bag full of clams? Good
I
luck."
told you, your cut, we were going to make 1,000 clams. No, he meant money.
Oh, yeah, we're not doing
Oh.
that. Excellent. Well, thanks for playing and thanks for listening to another It's Alive actual play. Next time we'll be back with more heartwarming horror.
Heartwarming terrors from beyond the stars.
All right. See you then. Thanks for listening. Be sure to check out the RPG Reanimators podcast for horror scenario reviews, interviews, gaming discussions, and more.